Hey, college basketball fans, it's Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Vegas for the past 35 years. And this year, college basketball, week number 5, stock down report for the week for December the 9th. And these two teams that I'm going to talk about in my stock down teams of the week, they are two teams that I know very well. And we'll start off with the first one, the school that I went to, Rutgers. Rutgers is off to a 5-4 start. They've now lost 3 straight games, though. I'm a big fan of the head coach, Steve Packel. He's one of the more mild-mannered coaches. That's the way I think it should be on the sidelines, and he is the guy that they needed to have for this younger team. They have 2 of the top 5 NBA pick prospects in this next draft. Starting for them in Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. Harper is the son of Ron Harper, former NBA great. And this team has potential. But right now they're still in the early phases. They're still trying to gel and mesh together. This is a difficult situation to start off. They started off with one of the 2 missing for a few games there. So they haven't really been in full bore action just yet. But, they're in the learning phase, and I'm okay with that. Right now, though, the team not in sync. The sets that they're running are a little bit flat. They're slow. They're taking shots at the end of the shot clock, forcing up bad shots. Their 3-point shooting here has been a disaster against the 4 better teams that they've played, Notre Dame, Alabama, A&M, and Ohio State. They got blown out twice. And, this is a situation right now where they're just going to have to get more game experience. And the bad news, of course, is they've lost 3 straight. The threes, again, as I mentioned earlier, 23 for 81. You ain't beating anybody shooting that poorly at the 3-point line. But it's not just that. They had 16 turnovers in the loss to A&M, 14 turnovers in the blowout loss to Ohio State. The turnovers weren't too bad against Alabama and Notre Dame, but of course in those games they shot the 3, 10 for 36 combined. So again, it's been one thing or the other. They just can't put a full game, solid game together. They will. This team, again, I expect that once they get a little more game time under their belt, I expect Harper and Bailey to start to really mesh. And when they both dually can have big games, then Rutgers is going to be trouble. Now, Rutgers is going to upset a couple of good teams in conference play because they're going to get better. You're going to get value on them, I believe, down the road, and that's going to prosper into some winning sports bets. But, again, this is a team that's just going to take a little bit of time. It's only 9 games into the year. I got them in a down report because of the way they've played. It's off. They're off in all the phases. But that will get better. But for now, they're one of my 2 stock down teams of the week. My second one is my hometown UNLV team here, the Rebels. I'm a season ticket holder. They're just 4-4, but they lost 3 straight games. Their head coach, Kevin Kruger, to me, did not do a good job recruiting. You'd think that the name UNLV it's almost worthless anymore in the last 15 years. I mean, you have one of the premier point guards in the country in Didon Thomas, and you couldn't go out there and add any other real key pieces. They don't have any quality big men. They have a 10-man rotation, which is kind of good, I guess. But the fact is, this team's too slow. The sets are awful. A lot like Rutgers, the other players seem to just look at Thomas, and it's kind of one-on-one at the end of the shot clocks. Way too much. When we look at this team, they played 4 quality-type teams, basically. They lost all 4 games. They lost to Memphis. They were 9 for 25 shooting threes. They lost to Mississippi State, 15 turnovers and only 48 shot attempts. You got to get a lot more shot attempts up there to get into a fluid rhythm, and they're just not doing that. Again, that's because they're waiting until the end of the shot clock's too much to shoot. Against Northwestern, who is the weakest of these 4, 14 turnovers, 6 for 18 shooting threes. And then against Creighton, 7 for 21 shooting threes. And then they only get to the free throw line 4 for 7 because, again, they take all 3-pointers and they don't work anything. They don't have no inside-out game. It's an all-outside game. Deon Thomas will take it in one-on-one a lot. He'll take it inside, but that's not an inside game. They scored 65, 61, and 58 only in 3 of the losses. Against Memphis, they scored 74, but they just gave up way too many points. So this is a team very, very out of sync right now, and I don't think that they really have the makings of a team core of quality talent that they're going to get a whole lot better. Now, they're very lucky that the Mountain West Conference is very down. Deon Thomas alone can win them some ball games. But again, they're going to have to get better shooting the ball quicker, get the pace. This is not the running Rebels, that's for sure. This is just the Rebels. This is a team that has a lot of explaining to do here in the next couple of weeks here, turnaround-wise, as far as what kind of pace they're going to play by this head coach. He's made bad adjustments in these games that I've been to especially, and this is a team that's not playing as good as what we would probably hope here in Vegas. You get a big look here being a college basketball team with no NBA team in Vegas, and this team's just not showing up, and neither are the fans, and the fans haven't for a while, so that doesn't help the situation at all either. Honorable mentions go out, though, to Kansas. UConn, again, bad start for this team. Miami losing 6 in a row. I just got to believe it's the end of the road for the head coach there at the end of this year. If they don't turn things around, and they're not going to, it's just not a good quality team. Another team that did not recruit well. Kansas is just out of sorts, too. I think maybe they have too much talent, and they can't seem to. The UCLA guys have accepted their roles. The Kansas players have not. And the Kansas players, they have some superstars on this team. They are not gelling or meshing at all either. Funny, in the beginning of the year, there was 2 teams that I talked about that I said you could bet against these teams all year. They're going to have a real bad year, Seton Hall and Virginia Tech. Well, Seton Hall's 5-5, Virginia Tech's 3-6. Guess what, folks? I misread both of these teams. They're worse than I thought. Neither one of these teams can score. And when you cannot score, and the fat kids are scoring more in a nightclub on a Saturday night than you're scoring in a college basketball game, then you're in trouble. And these 2 teams are in trouble. These are basically Virginia's, but they don't really have an opportunity to have a winning season. There's not going to happen. Both of these teams are going to end up with very bad finishes in their records. Neither one of these teams going to the Big Dance tournament this year, and this is a situation where you want to pound against teams that can't score. And I say this a lot, but I rate teams 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. These are 50s. You never want to bet on teams that are 50s. They don't have the capabilities to win games for you and cover spreads. They're going to be underdogs, and it's still not going to help you because you're going to score. You're looking at max scores of 65. That's just not going to be enough that you should be making wagers on. There's a million teams out there that you can bet on every night. Team totals, which I have been excelling at for the last few years. There's so many other options than just taking bad teams. Just stay away from bad teams. Even on their best days, they don't cover for you. Go ahead and try to look at hot teams and good teams, and they're the teams that you want to look to bet on. So make sure that you bet. Never bet what you cannot afford to lose, and don't over-wager. Try to stick to a money management plan the entire season. And remember that all these guys that sell you picks that hype the games, if they hype a game and they say game of the year, game of the month, whatever, blowout of the year, all that crap, that means they're full of shit and you know more than they do. Never purchase their stuff. They're just con men. That's all it is. So stay far away from them as well. And have a great holidays ahead, and may your wagers be all winning ones, and have a great week ahead, guys and gals. Don't forget to check out Gary Wynn's videos and bookmark us as we load more and more videos each and every day.